Okay. Okay. We should be live. We should be live now. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna load up the old capture card DS. Let's see. Go to here. I was watching Aristotle. No, I was watching Plato. I kind of want to watch that now, but no one wants to watch that. No one wants to watch that. Go to my channel and go there. Okay, get all sorted in. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Let's get this all figured out. What is... No, I can't even see the viewing because it's not... There we go. Okay, I need to get background, but every time I try to get background, it doesn't work. If anyone wants to try to make a new board thing for me, do it. Dude. Oh, man. Okay, let me see. Let me fix Twitch. Because it's playing by itself. There we go. How you doing, Game Me Too? Hey, man, I started to get out of that dark place. Things going good for you. That's going okay here and there for the most part. I'm using Soul Silver and Heart Gold. Oh, cool. Yeah, how you guys doing? How you? Let's see. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Let's see. So we're getting all settled in here. We're gonna watch that later. Are you doing White Lizard? We're gonna find some. If there's any audio playing, for sure tell me. Okay, there's not. Okay, we're good. We're good. Listen to some stuff soon. It's gonna be so weird because I'm wearing. I might have to take off this beanie, but it feels comfortable, so I really don't want to. Let's see. What happened? What happened? Did I mess up? Did I mess up? Oh no! What happened, Oreos? Oh, you're going to sleep. Oh, sorry. I was gonna stream earlier, but I was not in the mood. I was not in the mood. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Oh, I love this channel. I've been watching it for a while, but I didn't fully watch it. Oh, this is a new video too. The hurdy-gurdy. I kind of want to watch that. We might do that. We're just gonna be showing hunting while we watch videos. Let's see. This is a really interesting one. I think I'm gonna save some of these for a bit. I think I'm gonna save some for a little while. We'll watch those at another date. Maybe in a couple hours from now. Maybe not. Who knows? Thought I'd say hi. Oh, good Discovery, you know. Yep, of course. Yep, I hope you have a good night's sleep. I might be streaming tomorrow to get it all, you know, so you don't miss out completely. On a stream. I'll probably be streaming around your time tonight or tomorrow, depending on what goes on. We got a Whismer and Sapphire. Oh, congrats. Congrats. Wow. Congrats. That's too cool. Big time congrats. Were you here for the shine I got yesterday in Pearl version? I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Or was it 2 days ago? I can't remember. Not subscriptions. I don't know what we should watch to begin with. I guess what I got in Pearl version. What should I look? What should I look up? What should I want to look up in particular? Funny video I want to look up. Excuse me. No, it's not. It's not even a 5%. They're only 2%. But I did not get those. They're only 2%. But I did not get that for sure. I did not get that for sure. Let's see. Why don't I start typing in YouTube? What's my? Let's see. Let's check my. Oh man, I'm trying to figure out something to look up. Okay. What did I watch recently? Watch history. Shathid. Naga Quad. I watched a lot of weird stuff. Oh, I watched a whole bunch of these box openings. I really want to get one of these. I got another Cascoon. Cascoon number 6. I watched a lot of these box openings for the Korean GX Ultra Shiny. GX Ultra Shiny. Which I'm a little... I really want them. You automatically get 3 shiny Pokemon. And even though the card quality isn't that good, but for $30, oh man, it'd be awesome to open up some of those. Let's see. I want to continue watching this, but at the same time I don't. That's a lot of work. Truth about Plato. Let's see. A lot of these we have already watched. You're going to be able to take over the world with Shy again. I know. I think we're going to be doing a playthrough of only Cascoons in one of my games. We're just going to do a whole entire playthrough. Should we watch? Man, I want to watch some of this stuff, but people will come in too late. You watch some guys shitting on some lonely nerds. I mean, I've watched a few of those. What's it called? Depending on like which the context is. This one right here is like that. Let's see. What was the one I wanted to watch? Nah, I don't want that. We'll watch the Collier Brothers, I guess. I'll probably watch this more than once. Hopefully I don't get hit by a copyright. I do not know. If I do, big yikes. This is an interesting video. It's not like comedy. It's just cool to like listen. How you doing, Cookie Gamer? How you doing, buddy? How'd your stream go? Okay. Yeah, Cascoon
New
is
York retains
cool,
a cultural memory for the name Collier, though most have forgotten from where the name originates. Its fire department uses the term Collier's Mansion Syndrome in reference to residences besieged by...
Is the audio good? I need to know if the audio's A-okay. Hopefully it's good. I'll pause in a second. Yeah, I won't be talking too much while we watch these more like talkative videos. It's like a 20-minute video, so it's gonna be interesting. In YouTube there are too many people. Not that many people here right now. But I'm taking the audio's probably good.
And a pocket park bears their name in Harlem, attached to the end of a row of brownstone apartments. Parents will still sometimes admonish their children by comparing their rooms to the Colliers'.
I almost fell on my chair.
Despite the fact that crowds of thousands would once congregate outside of their home, their name was almost lost to obscurity. However, archives of newspapers and magazine articles chronicling their strange and alien lifestyle have been preserved on the internet, and in recent years they have squirmed their way back into public consciousness. But who exactly were these brothers, and how did they manage to capture the interest of a whole generation of New Yorkers?
Look that. Just daily dose of internet. Daily dose of internet? I'll look into it. I watched a few of those before.
The Collier brothers were born to a pair of first cousins in the 1880s. Their father, Herman Collier, was a wealthy and eccentric gynecologist, while their mother, Susie Frost, was an opera singer. Little is recorded about the two of them, and falsehoods seem to shroud them. For example, Herman is quoted as saying, "Our family is one of the oldest in New York. The first Collier came from England on the Speedwell, which was really better than the Mayflower." These claims are dubious, however, for 2 reasons. First, the Colliers were descended from the Livingstons, who arrived 52 years after the first colonists. Second, the Speedwell never made it to the east coast of America because the ship was found to be taking on water. Those that were planned to make the trip aboard the Speedwell simply loaded onto the Mayflower instead.
It's a story, like it just started, so you didn't really miss anything. It's a story about, like, I don't even know how to explain, just 2 brothers that went down like this really crazy lifestyle back in the day, so it's explained right now.
Bellevue Hospital before its infamous psychiatric ward was founded, where he is said to have paddled a canoe there and back each day. Susie, on the other hand, sang at the 14th Street Academy of Music and was generally lauded for her gorgeous voice. After the two met, they moved into what's known as a cold water flat, so called because of the lack of hot running water. While they were there, they gave birth to 3 children, though the first died when she was only 4 months old due to unrecorded causes.
See
In
you later, Elliot.
1881, however, Homer Collier was born, and 4 years later, in
Look at that guy.
1885, his brother Langley followed. Homer was a prodigy, entering college in New York at the age of 14 and receiving his bachelor's degree when he was 20. He went on to receive his graduate degree from Columbia University studying admiralty law, in which he pursued a successful career. His co-workers described him as, quote, courteous, cultured, and shy. One of Herman's patients who had met Homer described him as, quote, bright, too bright. Langley's educational background, on the other hand, is a bit more dubious. Though he claims to have received his degree from Columbia University in engineering, the college claims that there are no records stating he ever attended. He pursued a career as a concert pianist, styling himself with long hair and eventually playing at Carnegie Hall. After some time, however, he eschewed his piano playing for piano selling. In 1909, the Collier family moved into a brownstone apartment in Harlem. At this point in time, Harlem was quickly becoming home to the wealthier white families of New York, and the family lived there quietly for some time, attending church and going about their business. In 1919, however, Herman moved into a new home, leaving the rest of the family behind in the brownstone. According to Herman's nephew, Susie stayed in the brownstone with the 2 brothers, though Herman still saw his family daily. 4 years later, in 1923, Herman died, leaving everything he owned to his children, which was a sizable amount.
Take a day off.
One of his patients bought his house and found the basement full of what she labeled as junk, including an entire Ford Model T. The brothers, rather than selling or discarding it, moved the vast array of objects into the Harlem brownstone, including the Model T, which they disassembled to fit inside. Their mother passed 6 years later, and she left all of her possessions to the brothers as well, all of which was moved into the brownstone. For some time, the brothers lived outwardly normal lives, continuing in their professions and even teaching Sunday school at their local church while they lived together in their parents' apartment. But this normalcy would not last. "1929 marked not only the death of Susie Frost, but also the beginning of the Great Depression. Though the Collier brothers were still well off thanks to their inheritance and their successful careers, Harlem saw a radical change in its demographics. Many of the wealthy whites who had once characterized the area moved out as their funds disappeared with the economic downturn, supplanted by a large influx of poor blacks. Crime dramatically increased, and the Colliers began to grow fearful of the changes to their neighborhood. They left their house less and less in favor of one another's company and the safety of their opulent 4-story brownstone. For some reason, they stopped paying their bills, cutting them off from water, gas, and electricity. In lieu of these public services, they would fill containers with water from a pump 4 blocks away. For heat, they would burn lamp oil. Langley was convinced that he could retrofit the engine of his father's old Model
okay to
T
take a day
to
off.
produce electricity, but it's uncertain as to whether
3
or not
weeks
these
off.
attempts were successful. Despite the depression, the brothers' finances seemed to be in no danger. After Homer left his insurance job, he purchased a piece of property across the street from the brownstone
Yeah, a
in
little bit.
1932. Allegedly, he produced the entire $7,500 from his pocket, in cash. Adjusted for inflation, this amount is just over $130,000. Just 1 year after this transaction, however, Homer suddenly suffered hemorrhages in the backs of his eyes from a stroke, leaving him blind. Soon after, he would also find himself paralyzed. Cushioned by the money the family had saved and inherited, Langley quit his job to take care of his older brother full-time, caring for all of his needs. After this, the brothers almost never left their brownstone, cutting themselves off from the outside world almost entirely. The apartment continued to degrade around them as they languished inside, surrounded by piles of junk in the darkness. Rumors began to spread, fueled by tabloids and newspapers, that there were vast riches hidden away somewhere in their apartment. This, combined with their strange antisocial behavior, made them the target of both ire and fascination within the Harlem community, though the brothers mostly experienced the former themselves. Children took to calling them spooks and throwing rocks through their windows.
Could you imagine
In
that?
response, Langley barred the first-story windows and bolted the front door
What
shut.
assholes.
He stopped leaving the house except extremely late at night, wearing a tattered coat held together with pins in order to fetch the things the two needed. Sometimes he would walk over 6 hours in order to retrieve bread from a town far away, though the reason for this is uncertain. He also grew intensely protective of his brother, disallowing anyone from seeing him. This secrecy only enticed further fascination, which eventually led Helen Warden, a reporter for the New York World Telegram, to interview him, where she was able to tease out a few bits of information from the reclusive man. He is quoted as saying, "We've no telephone, and we've stopped opening our mail. You can't imagine how free we feel." The years wore on, and the years became a decade, and still there was silence from the brownstone. An account by Helen Warden grimly described the decaying building. Its storm doors were shut, and a portion of the front steps missing. A gaping hole marked the location of what had once been a doorbell. Through splintered glass windows, I could see old-fashioned wooden shutters drawn tight and evidently latched from the inside. Newspapers littered the areaway. Over the roof arched an enormous elm, like a hangman's tree. Though apparently deserted, the house bore neither a for rent nor a for sale sign. The affairs of the Collier brothers began to erode as well. In 1939, workers were sent to the brownstone to retrieve the gas meters that had been left unused for 11 years. With all entrances blocked off from the first story, the workers were forced to climb to the second story and shimmy their way along the wall.
Could you imagine that?
Allegedly, thousands of people gathered to watch the spectacle, entranced by the possibility of learning about the forbidden interior of the Colliers' apartment. 3 years later, in 1942, a reporter was able to catch up with Langley and interviewed him, spinning his speech as a story of brotherly love. The Colliers had recently become newsworthy again, as the bank had threatened to foreclose on their apartment recently, due to missed mortgage payments. A sizable section of the article was given over to Langley's own words, and details of his brother's condition were revealed. He claimed that his brother had been paralyzed by inflammatory rheumatism, but it seems that this was never confirmed by a physician. "Homer and I decided we would not call in any doctors," he explained. "You see, we know too much about medicine. Doctors would remove Homer's optic nerve and he would be blind forever, and they would treat his rheumatism with drugs that would shorten Homer's life. No, we decided to do it our own way, by diet and rest. Homer eats 100 oranges a week and is improving. He can sit up a little now. We believe in letting nature take its course. I cook his meals and have to cut up his meat into little cubes so he can eat it with a spoon. I have to bathe him and tend to all his wants. I used to read to him. We have all the classics in our library. I used to read Shakespeare and Dickens, but my eyes went bad and I stopped. So now we just talk and listen to the radio. When Homer first lost his sight, he used to see visions of beautiful buildings, always in red. He would describe them to me and I would try to paint them just as he directed. Someday, when Homer regains his sight, I will show the paintings to him." He also revealed that there were thousands of newspapers within the brownstone. Quote, "I am saving newspapers for Homer so that when he regains his sight he can catch up on the news." He closed by adding, "Tell the bank I'll make some payment and let me know what they say." But apparently, no payment was ever sent, and the Bowery Savings Bank sent a crew to the apartment to have the interior gutted and cleaned. When they arrived and began pulling things from the yard, Langley shouted from one of the higher windows at the crews, ordering them to drop his property, but the crew was undeterred. When they were done with the yard, the police slammed the front door down, and what they found was beyond the imaginations of any of the onlookers. Refuse had been piled in front of the door, boxes laden with unknown, likely useless objects, and mounds of collected garbage almost as tall as the men themselves reached all the way to the back wall. The police climbed over the heaps and made their way to Langley, who sat defiantly within a small clearing like a nest. When they confronted him, he wordlessly wrote a check for $6,700, equivalent to nearly $100,000 today, and barked at them again to leave. After this incident, Langley would not speak to any more reporters, even after the property Homer had bought across the street was repossessed for failure to pay taxes. Anonymous reports to the police would occur frequently after this incident, occasionally to report that one of the Collier brothers had died. On one of these instances, Langley allowed the officer into his apartment, perhaps out of frustration. This was the first time that anyone was allowed to lay witness to the true extent of the Colliers' hoarding. The amount of junk collected was difficult to comprehend. There was so much that Langley had created maze-like passageways and tunnels through the entirety of the brownstone, even along the stairs. Traps had been laid for would-be intruders, some designed to alert the brothers, some designed to crush and kill underneath heaps of waste. Rats and cats ran rampant through the maze as well. After 30 minutes of guidance through the apartment, the officer gazed upon Homer Collier, the first person to do so in years besides Langley. Franz Litz, in his book Ghostly Men, describes the encounter. He was on a cot, a burlap bag beneath him and an old overcoat on the foot of the cot. "I am Homer L. Collier, the lawyer," the old man said in a deep voice. "I want your name and shield number." "I am not dead." "Why are you sitting with your knees up to your chin?" the sergeant asked. "My legs are doubled by rheumatism. I can never lie down again." On March 21st, 1947, another caller informed police that someone had died within the brothers' apartment and that a miasma was beginning to seep from the building. These calls had become common, and when the police received these calls, the routine was to knock upon the door and Langley would answer to assuage the concern. When the police arrived this time, however, there was no answer. They subsequently began searching for another method inside, but with every entrance blocked or barricaded in some way, they were forced to start pulling away junk. The front door proved fruitless. Removing the utterly massive amount of refuse would take far too long, as the first floor had been completely filled by Langley since the
How you doing, folks? We're gonna finish watching this video, and then we'll say hi and whatnot.
last time the police broke in. On the second story, however, police were able to pull away enough of the barricade to get inside after breaking one of the windows. They spent 2 hours navigating the hordes of junk and avoiding the numerous traps laid by Langley, but eventually they came upon Homer Collier sitting in a chair. His legs, as before, were tucked to his chest, but this time his head was resting on his knees. He wore nothing but a blue and white bathrobe over his emaciated body. He was dead. The official cause of death was attributed to a combination of starvation and heart trouble. According to an autopsy, he had had nothing to eat or drink for more than 3 days and had been dead for 10 hours. Immediately after Homer's discovery, the police began searching for Langley. At first, they suspected that Langley was the one who put in the tip, and they posted a policeman outside the front door to wait for his return. They also put out a request for information on his location, and reports of sightings flooded in. Though the search took them over 9 states, Langley could not be found. The police expected that he would return within 3 days, but when he never showed up, they accepted the likely possibility that Langley had died within the brownstone, and that his body was still somewhere amidst the heaps of garbage. And so, the police began pursuing both possibilities. For nearly 3 weeks, workers tore through the massive hoard while onlookers filled the streets to watch as objects were thrown to the sidewalk below, and a crane was employed to lift some of the things from the upper floors. The curious array of objects included both the mundane and the disturbing. The brothers had amassed a sizable art collection, including sculptures and paintings, and their library numbered more than 25,000 books, around 15,000 of which were Herman's old medical reference books. 14 disheveled pianos stood proudly on the first floor, 10 of which were grand pianos, and all of which were left over from Langley's abandoned piano-selling business. The remains of the old Model T were still present as well. More strangely, there was a full human skeleton, along with the body of a 2-headed infant and various human organs, all preserved and floating in jars. It's likely that they had once belonged to their father, Herman. Furniture, guns, bicycles, baby carriages, bowling balls, a sawhorse, and a massive list of other objects were pulled as well, things that had, at one point, caught the eye of the younger Collier. The final total was estimated to be around 120 tons. those items that could still be sold were auctioned off, totaling less than $2,000, or a little over $21,000 when adjusted for inflation. Amidst the rubbish, the workers inevitably found Langley, decaying and gnawed by rats, only 10 feet from where Homer had been found. He was buried beneath garbage in a tunnel. After an autopsy, it became clear what had happened. While Langley had been bringing his paralyzed brother food, he had accidentally triggered one of his own traps, dropping heavy refuse onto him, which pinned him to the ground and constricted his breathing. Homer, unable to move, could only wait motionless as his brother suffocated. With nobody to care for him and no way to call for help, he slowly starved in the cold brownstone while his brother's body began to rot. The apartment itself was in such a state of disrepair that it had to be demolished off of the building, while their estate was split amongst dozens of distant relatives. After the area was cleared, a non-profit purchased the land and turned it into a pocket park where, ironically, people could come and sit at their leisure. This left only old newspaper articles as evidence of their existence. To preserve their memory, reporters would write books about them, often with equal amounts of disgust and fascination, but rarely with pity. Today, a search engine query for Collier will return dozens of editorialized articles with contradictory details about the chilling and horrific story of delusional psychotic hoarders. Before these articles were published, however, the brothers were strangely romanticized, and now even an historical fiction novel bears their names, though heavy liberties have been taken with the source material. Some see them as martyrs, standing defiantly against a culture that demanded they engage with it. They are a real-life Bartleby, at once champions of nonconformity and victims to their own natures, made into public spectacles for their decision not to integrate, simply saying, "I'd prefer not to." Where some saw suffocation, Langley and Homer saw freedom.
That's wild. Okay, sorry about that. How you doing, Hunt Hustle? Sorry to hear about the 17.5K soft resets for guaranteed on Platinum. Jesus Christ. How you doing, JVB and Sebastian? Sorry, just watching a video. I didn't want to cut in and out of it constantly. And I know a lot of people came late to it, so they're like, what the hell are you watching? It was an interesting video. Let's see. Excuse me. What do I want to look up now? Some good vidges. I want to watch this hurdy-gurdy one. The hurdy-gurdy. I want to watch that, but at the same time I don't. Sam Hyde sports fan stand up. I don't know if I can watch that. That's gonna be too much for me. Too much for me, that's for sure. Also, I should probably link in the Discord that I'm live. I totally forgot about that. I keep forgetting to do that. There we go. Okay. 5th place Denver Regional Gameplay. Pika pads. Ooh, that could be interesting. Wait, is it how much? Wait, what? What is the deck list for this? Let me see.
What's up, everybody?
Okay, I like this guy's channel. What is the deck list? Damn it. I can't see the retreat cost. I think it's Pikachu Zekrom GX. I think that's what it is. I want to make a Zoroark or Greninja Zoroark deck really bad. I can't do that. That's weird. It's not what it is. Best decks in standard. What should we watch? I'll go to my subscriptions. I don't really check my subscriptions too much anymore. Let's see. Oh, look at all these great people streaming right now. Let's see. Also, I know this guy in real life. He's cool. You guys haven't checked him out. Anthony Case. You should. Wolf of Magic presents Timmy's Everywhere. No, I don't want to watch that. He's a very interesting person to watch. Alpha Investments. He's a pretty interesting person to watch. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see. New design changes might be. Okay, now I don't care about that. How you doing, Maxie? How you been? How you been? Let's see. Yeah. No, I'm just looking for something to watch at the moment. That would be enjoyable to watch. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really have any fucking subscriptions anymore since I've subscribed to so many people. It's all over the place. I kind of like stopped subscribing to like a lot of things I normally would watch. I'm like half and half on stuff. Yikes, dude. This lady got some weird ass fucking arms, dude. She could like reach you from across the room. Do I know this person? I think I know this person. Is this? Oh, okay, yeah. They do Pokemon. Yeah. I was supposed to say, I'm like, wait a second, am I Dragon Ball Super? I'm very half and half on Dragon Ball Super. It's like such a weird, like, it was so good at first, and then they did what Yu-Gi-Oh does and adds fucking new abilities over and over and over and over again each set, making it to where it diluted the card game and ruined it for me. And then they fucking power creep stuff too much to where all the old cards just started becoming really trash. Like, it was too fast of a power creep. So it sucked. Like, I had like a lot of cards that were worth like a lot of money, and then 2 sets later they're worth like 5. And it's like they were 40 not too long ago, which I understand happens in card games, but not within 2 sets, you know? When they were like top tier cards. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, yes, that does happen, but at the same time it doesn't. They still maintain decent values. And I'm really salty. I was going to actually buy a whole bunch of these 1 full art cards for Pokemon, because I knew that they're going to be good in the future for like $5 to $10 each. But I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that because I better save my money for the channel instead. And now they're up to $50 each. And I'm like, fuck! Because I was going to buy a whole bunch of them. But I didn't. Because I was a dumbass. It is what it is, though. So that was pretty funny seeing that. I was like, god damn it. A little dead inside. Okay, there's like nothing to watch on YouTube in my subscription. I don't know why I'm spinning through that. Excuse me. Can't watch half the stuff on YouTube. You get copyright strikes even though it's on YouTube. I think the fact that it's on YouTube, it should just, you know, if it's allowed to be on there, just shouldn't. You shouldn't get hit by shit. Let's see. Naganadel is winning in day 1. I like this guy's channel, but at the same time, I really don't. It's really frustrating. I hate my life. Glad to hear. No, I'm kidding. I hope it gets better, Stitch. Hope it gets better. You know how that goes. Let's see. I know how that goes. I think right now I'm gonna start saving up for Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. I didn't get much sleep last night. I went to bed at like 6 and woke up at like 9. So I'm exhausted. And then, like, you know, I fell back asleep for like a little bit here and there, but I was like, kind of up. I wasn't in like that weird state where you're up but you're not. So I'm really tired. 2018 Pokemon World Championships, I think. Master Division, yeah. I just worked too hard just saying now my back, arms, legs are super sore. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that's never fun. Not at all. Let's see. But I want to watch the International Championship. Wait, I didn't watch this. It better not make me watch 8 hours of this. That'd be stupid. Okay, I want the TCG. I hate the VGC. There's no fun for me in the VGC. Okay, there's TCG.
On my colleague. Start go it and the year after my talent would likely like G to
God, they're doing commercials. This is so annoying.
Like water, just like fireball right now. I'd probably retreat.
There we go.
Fantastic.
Oh, it's already like mid.
Knows which means he can get everything.
It's already like mid game. God damn it.
Yeah, it's only really being able to capitalize.
Yeah, they're just jumping
on
through
that
like they do most of the time.
these Rayquaza builds.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna watch
to
this.
do part-
Even though it just started, it's still pointless. I hate watching like mid, like when they start shit up. But what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna start saving my money to do essentially what I want to do in the future, which is eventually open up like an online card shop, and then in like anywhere between like 3 to like 10 years, open up an actual shop and make sure it's profitable. Unlike most shops nowadays, not really profitable. So I think I'm gonna start saving my money for that. I have most of my YouTube stuff that I want for the most part. I don't really need any more games, and I will be going back to the multi-shiny hunting, you know, pretty soon. I'm just haven't been in the mood to do it, so we will get back to that pretty soon. But as it says, I want to essentially just start working on that. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like all the channel routes that people do that are like, you know, that will have digital shops online or have card shops, and essentially when a good set's coming out, like this one that's coming out tomorrow, Unbroken Bonds, or not tomorrow, 3 days from now, 3 or 4 days, who knows, for Pokemon, they buy like $10,000 worth of the product, and then they have huge massive box openings, which in turn, you know, helps out their channel a whole lot, gets them like, you know, views and all that type of stuff, and then they can sell all that while also goes like, hey, look, we're selling these, and then people be like, oh, you're selling it, so I'll just, you know, go to your website and support you that way as well. So that's something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to do some type of card shop. I like dealing in cards. I think they're enjoyable and fun, and it's like stuff that I enjoy, so being able to sell people something that I enjoy would be cool. So yeah, I think I'm gonna, you know, start working on that, and that way, like, it will like kind of stop me from collecting cards, because then I'm not, you know, I understand the value of all the cards I have, like, and I understand that, like, I technically would have them. I pulled them at one point, so that's all that matters to me. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about something like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. I'm hunting shiny Drowsy. Oh, nice. Nice. I wish you luck in that. I got a shiny Cascoon last night again. Cascoon number 6. Almost fell in my chair. I caught myself at the last second. I like leaned backwards. I went, oh shit, and I launched myself forward to the camera and played it off pretty well. It was pretty funny, to be honest. I thought I was about to just blop out. Oh, excuse me. Hasn't came since a year. That's not good. My eyes twitching. Let's see. I'm gonna watch history. It's just a clusterfuck of bullshit. Or we can watch Wing. That's what I wanted to watch. We won't watch this video because it's gross. We'll watch a different video from him. Actually gave me the heebie-jeebies. I need to find a good video to watch from him. We could watch this one maybe. I like watching like stuff I can pause and like laugh at and then talk for every once in a while. I like watching these videos, but I can't really say much while I'm watching them. So we'll see. I guess we'll watch this
Today.
I love this video. Yeah, if I don't talk much, it's because obviously we're watching this. So, just as a heads up.
I'm going to tell you the story of a man who had had enough.
You suck!
An artistic man.
I'm trained classically,
An educated man.
and I'm an NYU film school graduate. Sucker!
But no matter how educated you may be, everyone has their breaking point. And let me tell you, some of these street performers in New York City are annoying as shit. I mean, once in a while you'll come across one that's actually pretty good. Most of the time you can just ignore them, but sometimes you can't ignore them. When you can't ignore them, they're annoying as shit. You're sitting in the subway, the door's closed, then all of a sudden you hear, does anybody know what time it is?
Oof, that
as
sucks.
great as it would feel to pull a Jason Takes Manhattan and just kick that boombox in the air. You gotta pick your battles. At least that's how most of us approach it, but not this guy. On this episode of Tales from the Internet, the angry man who yelled at a trumpet. But first, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Vikings War of Clans. Their support helps
Let's fast
my
forward.
skill love, like Lords of the Realm 2 for instance.
Here.
What makes Vikings so addictive, but support Look Me Up and Instagram contest this month where you can win
There we
one
go.
of 3 DJI Spark drones or a DJI Phantom drone. On October 14th of 2013, somebody named Bill Mack uploaded a video to YouTube entitled Trumpet Fight. Trumpet Fight is a video of a short, balding man, who many people at the time actually thought was a woman, adorned in the official uniform of a Midtown Manhattan lunch break while confronting a man playing the trumpet on the sidewalk. This guy was really upset that the trumpet player was disturbing the silence.
Raymond
You know,
Connor
the
too.
silence of the middle of New York City. This video
I'm
is
hoping that,
so outrageous and is filled with so many quotable lines that I
I'm gonna
wind up
shiny
watching
star
it
me.
several
Wait,
times
let's
every
begin. Let's
single
go.
year, and each time it still leaves me in tears. And I'm not gonna sit and watch the whole 3-minute video with you, but what I am gonna do is show you the highlights.
You suck! You suck! Get out! Get out! Get the fuck out! Get out! Anybody know who you are? This is one of the most important places in all of North America. Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you?
See, I had 200,000 people in Bill Graham. In 1975, I walked Bob Dylan up on stage. Who the fuck are you? I knew the Grateful Dead from 1966. Who the fuck are you?
That's this guy's claim to fame. We know no personal artistic achievements of his own, just who he knows. He knew the Grateful Dead. Alright, if there's anyone from the Grateful Dead watching this, do you know this guy? Let me know. He walked Bob Dylan to the stage. Imagine now the kind of person who they derive some sense of having clout from being side stage at Warped Tour. And now imagine if 40 years later, one of those people were still rubbing it in people's faces that they were side stage at Warped Tour. Essentially what this guy is the 70s version of an Instagram thought.
You're no artist. An artist respects the silence that serves as the foundation of creativity.
An artist respects the silence that serves the foundation of creativity. That's probably my favorite line in this entire video. Because amidst all the, you suck, you know, honest. I love it because all of a sudden, with saying all that, just yelling at a dude, he comes out with this articulate sounding line, opining upon the nature of creativity that he's probably had stored away in his head, waiting to use for months and months and months, and he's finally getting his chance. That comes out all of a sudden, but what drives me up the wall about it too, every single time this video gets posted, you can expect to see some amount of comments from people. Probably the kinds of people who follow stupid Instagram accounts with motivational quotes and whatnot. They see the video and hear that line and they're like, wow man, it's actually so deep, man, whoa. The kinds of dopes that are dazzled by nice sounding flowery language that in reality doesn't mean all that much. An artist respects the silence that serves the foundation of creativity. It might sound clever, but if you think about it, a person's status as an artist really has no bearing on what their opinions about silence are. And whether or not silence serves as the foundation for creativity is debatable at best. I mean, me personally, I do most of my writing to the sounds of lo-fi hip-hop radio, beats to relax and study to.
You nothing! You are
Congrats
nothing!
on the full art Salazzle GX.
You will never be anything. Never! How dare you? How dare you? You miserable, mediocre nothing! Shame on you.
And this is the part of the video where it almost gets a little bit dark, a little bit sad. It's kind of like he's talking to the trumpet player, but it almost sounds like an internal monologue, and he's lamenting all the failures he's had in his life and trying to push it off on some other dude. But I don't know. I'm not here to do armchair psychiatry.
I'm trained classically. I'm trained contemporaneously. And you suck.
Go away.
So this video winds up going super viral, having several million views across a number of different re-uploads of the original. It's getting all kinds of major blog coverage. They make fun of it on Opie Anthony, and I instantly fell in love with this video, and I needed to know more about this guy. And judging by the Facebook post he left shortly after this video went viral, a lot of other people had the same idea.
Please note, there have
Creeper
not been
King
or will
Josh,
ever
jeez,
be any
Creeper.
comments from me to dignify any or all of the insane, outrageous responses sent about a very minor
Unified minds.
about a very minor situation in passing that has been blown completely out of proportion. It is also phenomenal that people would presume to hack in and send replies
What
in
about
my
this
name.
one, though?
All of you who do nothing more or better than to serve the
don't like
illusion
that?
will receive exactly what you deserve. Douglas
Oh,
Levison.
man.
But in addition to this post, his Facebook also revealed another detail. Apparently, he ran a company known as Flower Power Creative. What kind of company is Flower Power Creative? According to a cursory look at their website, they have their hands in many pots. FlowerPowerCreative.com is a community dedicated to motivating a more compassionate society. Through our
And
events,
evolution packs.
books, media interviews, and website, we hope to inspire action and dialogue in politics, the environment, women's rights, animal rights, technology, music, and fine arts. Please visit us often for the energy and focus to power the momentum of solutions in these areas of... Wait, he definitely wrote that section himself. Please visit us for often... Please visit us often for the energy and focus to power the momentum of solution. Let me try that again. Please visit us often for the... You can't do it now. And you can see all the various sections of Flower Power Creative. Politics, music and fine arts, women's rights, environment, techniques, animal rights, and you go to any of these sections and you get a number of blog posts about said topic. There's also a survey of which group best expresses the 60s wave, the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, and as you can see, the Beatles narrowly edged out the Rolling Stones with a total votes of 83, which actually, now that I think about it, Douglas Levison over here actually got more votes on his Beatles Rolling Stones poll than Maddox did on his last podcast. They also have some testimonials from Satisfied, I'm not really sure what they do exactly, but whatever it is that they do, they got a testimonial from Patty Boyd who said, I support the creative vision of Flower Power Creative in World, Artists for Peace, and... Oh, you can click on testimonials to see all the testimonials that Flower Power Creative has. And it's just the one from Patty Boyd. And the end was its future projects. I support the creative vision of Flower Power Creative in World Artists for Peace and its future projects. I look forward to great progress in the collaboration. Patty Boyd. They also have Barnes & Noble and Amazon accounts linked up to a book. Daniel the Beericle Daniel the Beericle Beak. Oh, apparently they gave an introduction for this book. Introduction by Douglas Levison, Power Flat. I'll put a link to the book in the description in case you're curious. The real winning section of FlowerPowerCreative.com is
Darkrai
the gallery,
GX. Ooh.
in which we have all the
Let's see,
various
tag team.
sections they have represented in the gallery. Here's the women's rights photos. This is what women's rights looks like, all photographed by Douglas Levison. I like how this is the women's rights photos section, but in this picture, the woman in the picture is completely out of focus, and there's like some dude sharp as fuck in the background, just chilling, like, yeah. And he also has sections for everything else: the music and fine arts, environment photos,
I sure hope you do.
the trees,
Here's
more
hoping.
trees. Another tree. Another tree. This is the environment. Tell me this gallery is literally nothing. Oh, there's a wind. I don't know. I don't know. The windmill is the environment. Oh wait, they got environment part 2. Maybe I hope that's like something that's not true. Oh, it's the sky. Oh, chemtrails. Tell me. Technology photos, and it's like I guess a lamp is technology. You got a car, a train, technology, a building,
How you doing,
the same
Summer?
building.
How you doing? How you been? Nice to see you
What
again.
the hell is this technology? What is that? Is this like a monolith made out of stone? Technology is that? Probably the best one. Politics. Let's take a look at the politics pictures. There's an out of focus. Can you? Alright, so it's nighttime in Washington, D.C., and you've got this goblin wandering around, creeping outside the White House, taking pictures from behind the bushes. Can you imagine? Like, this could have turned out way worse than it did. Why did he take all these at night? So ultimately, Douglas's website gave us a better idea about the man behind the trumpet fight. However, the trumpet fight itself was still shrouded in mystery. Thankfully, though, Douglas broke his promise to never speak about this again about a month later. On December 16th, he appeared on the Improv for Humans podcast to discuss the trumpet fight.
Franklin Roosevelt was my grandmother's neighbor up in Beacon and was little Franklin, so that's family. Kennedy I met when I was 6, JFK, so that's
Really?
okay.
And when he's not name dropping, he goes ahead and tells us some information about where this all went down.
And he was in front of what's called the Museum of the
Okay, we're good.
Holocaust, which is a little bit as you start walking north back out at the bottom of the park.
And knowing that this took place outside of the Holocaust Museum, you might see why a person would flip out over this. They might think he's being disrespectful by playing the trumpet. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, because later on he goes on to clarify that the Holocaust Museum really wasn't why he was mad.
Do you, it's not in the recording, but before the recording starts, did you ever say, this is the Holocaust Museum that you're playing outside of? Did you ever inform him of that fact?
I gotta tell you, in all innocence, it wasn't any one specific element of this taking place. It was summative in that it was where it was happening, of course, in that particular nice spot, but it's the whole neighborhood here, of which the museum is just another expression. The park is an expression.
But perhaps the most important part of this interview is when Douglas goes on to explain that famous line and where it came from.
At some point you say something to the effect of silence is the foundation of all creativity. Is that your own quote,
Exactly.
or are you quoting somebody?
This is no, I've been practicing TM. I was inspired
Transcendental
by the Beatles,
meditation.
You suck! Who are you? I had 200,000 people. I mean, the old basic quote is that silence is golden. And when you've been experiencing this level of silence and the pure value of silence into the creative mode, this is part of how, like, the whole system of knowledge and experience work. But that was my quote.
So where is Douglas Leafeon these days? Although he's been mostly quiet on social media, he did appear in a movie a couple years ago as himself, yelling at Ariel Pink for playing music in the street.
What is this? You think that you guys are creating art? You think that you musicians, you know how to play and sing? It's a disgrace. It's a perversion of the creative process and a violation of the silence of what it is to create.
Have you ever heard Bob Dylan?
It's a bunch of noise.
So although he wound up resisting at first, it appears that Douglas Leafeon wound up embracing the fact that he will forever be known as the Angry Trumpet Man. And that's the story of what's probably my favorite viral video of all time. And if you like this video, be sure to check out these other ones.
Sucker!
Pretty funny. Interesting to watch. Okay. Oh, let's see. What is there to do? I kind of want to play the TCG, but at the same time, I really don't. I think just shiny hunting is probably the best thing to do at the moment. We had our fucking Cascoon the other day, and that was brutal. Man, I really wish I was in Cascoon. Let's look up some Pokemon cards. Let's see. Whoa. What is this? Hand painted breakthrough altar. That's kind of cool. It's hand painted. It's custom. But I don't know if it has any value. Let's see. Yikes. That's an old ass card for the looks of it. Incorrect image. I should do that just to piss to fuck with them. Let's see. 25 bucks for a hand painted one. Fancy. Okay, let's look up some Pokemon cards. Let's go for Team Up and Lost Thunder. I think we'll go for Lost Thunder first. I want to see how much Zoro Aura is. Wait, what is this? Are you kidding me? Why is someone selling for this much? What is this? Let me look this up. This can't be $80 fucking dollars. Please don't tell me the market value for this is that much money. Okay, that's what I thought. I was about to say, what the hell? That person was just selling it for that much. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, nope, someone has for 100 too. Let's see. Target, out of stock, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Amazon, here we go. Let's see. Doubt it. Okay, I see some people. Oh, no, this is the other. This is a different one. That's a different one. I was about to say, there's no fucking way that was $100 almost. This is a different variant of it. It's a pin collection? Who cares though? Like, why does that matter? Oh, it's not shown. Oh well. Let's see, 1 foil promo, 8 Pokemon TCBs, 4 metallic collectible tins. I guess it's just like a rare, it's just like a really rare thing to find. They probably only printed a few out. Let's see, Lost Thunder. So yeah, there's the normal one, which this won't be too valuable until the reprints come in, sadly. Hello, Ninetale Jix. This was so much money in Japan when it first came out. It was like almost like $100, I think. Man, what a beautiful card. Let's see. Let's make sure you guys can see it. Yeah, you guys can see it. Perfect. What a beautiful card. However, I think this is better. I think the full art version is better than the rainbow version, possibly. I'm not sure which one I like more. If it's like the rainbow version, the hyper rare version, or this one. I don't know. So Lost Thunder doesn't really. Do they really even have? Okay, no, never mind. He went up in price again. Wait, so where's he at normally then? Where's this hyper rare at? Did I pass it? No. Is his hyper rare just not in stock, so they're not having it pop up, or his hyper is the same value as full art? I'm guessing people like the full art more. I don't know. That's crazy. Who knows? Who knows? Because I sure don't. I haven't followed the Lost Thunder set. I wanted it really bad. It looked like such a fun set to get into right after Celestial Store, but too much money. Oh, excuse me. Too much money. So about $30. I'm not a big fan of this Pokemon, to be honest. Or I don't think it looks too cool. It looks pretty dumb, to be honest. That's why I will say that it kind of looks like a Digimon. I will go as far as to say, yeah, that makes sense. People get angry about like the Pokemon designs and whatnot. I'll give them that one if they say. Electro Power. That's so expensive, man. Holy shit, $24 on average for the market price. Probably even more. Let's see, Volkner. How much are you? $18.90. Like a lot of these cards, I should have picked up when I knew the price was gonna go up on them, but I didn't. Yes, these are only $20. Okay, so he's a decent card. $20 if you run 2 of them or 1 of them in your deck. That's hefty amount. That's a hefty amount. Jeez, squeaky chair. Blacephalon. Why are these full arts more expensive than the rainbow rares? I guess people are just liking the full arts. Honestly, I think the rainbow rares or the hyper rares look beautiful. And the full arts look really good too, but I think in person, the rainbow rares are just so much better. I think visually, you should probably run the full arts compared to the hyper rares because they sometimes get mixed up. The two do, and you can't really notice the difference on stuff, and it's really weird. So that happens sometimes. That ball only $15, I guess, because there's not that many grass decks at the moment. Once Rowlet comes out, and what's it called, Executor and Rowlet, I think it'll go up a little bit. Man, I'm so tired. Mimikyu GX. What were so good about you? I know that you were good for a little bit. Let's see, your opponent's next Pokemon is now confused. Yikes. This attack does 30 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Oh man. That's not too great. I mean, it's good, but it's not for 2 energies. But you can do it with this Fairy Stadium. I think that decreases the attack. Yeah, Wondrous Labyrinth. So I guess that's good. Is it free? Free attack? Oh, I'll just say Fairy. Okay. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and shuffle. Not bad. So if you go second, you put that on turn 1 down on the field, and you attack, and they have nothing on the field. Does he win the game? I don't know if. Yeah, I think you should be able to do that. That makes sense. That'd be wild. What does Blacephalon's attack do again? I can't fully remember. Discard one of your prize cards. If that card's energy attached to one of your Pokemon, put on the amount of fire energy attached to your Pokemon in the Lost Zone. This attack stands for each one in the Lost Zone that way, of course. But how do you get them back? I'm not sure. Lost Blender. Oof, 1260. 1260. Yeah, and the normal. Not much. Judge Full Art. Jeez. I really wish the playable full arts were just on a base average of 20 plus. Like, it's cool because if I wanted to pick up, these, I could, but at the same time, it's like, oh man. What's Counter Gain do? I don't actually ever read that. I think it's just as long as you have more prize cards remaining, your opponent's attacks Pokemon the card cost 1 less. Oh, okay, yeah, Counter Gain. I'll think of Counter Energy. You would have to just be losing for that to be useful. Which else is possible? Man, I'm exhausted. Wow, see, that's another one that's like market price is $11.45, but everyone else is selling for $27 plus. Cocoon, Shuckle, Shaman. What does Sceptile do? Oops, I want to exile that one. Let's see. Discard special from your opponent's active Pokemon. Okay, that's decent for 1 grass. I mean, for 60, I guess. Yeah, that's good. But like, you have to get out fast. Move a grass energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Is decent. You get a little dash from each of your Pokemon with a grass energy attached to them. Yeah, that's I'm very half and half on this. Like, I know it's good, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. What's this Grovyle do again? It's a turn before you attack. You may search your deck for a grass Pokemon revealed and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Okay, I might head out in a bit because I'm really tired now. I might take a nap. I was really like up and at it, but now I'm just exhausted. I think what I might do is I might try to find all my Pokemon cards and try to start sorting them all. And maybe I'll do a stream on that. maybe a little bit of shiny hunting while we sort some Pokemon cards out. I think that'd be fun. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to head out. Thank you for people that stopped by and watched. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. And I'll see you maybe